Top U.S. infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci and also the White House advisors clashed a day ahead of the presidential election over the handling of the COVID-19 infection, as Fauci in an interview has now called for an urgent change in the U.S. policy on coronavirus. Now, Dr. Fauci warned that the United States is in fact heading for a disaster unless it makes an abrupt change in its health practices. Dr. Anthony Fauci also said that the pandemic situation is actually going to worsen amidst the flu season. Fauci is a member of the White House task force on coronavirus, and he said that Americans have been ignoring the health practices. The top infectious disease expert was all praise for President Trump's arrival. Joe Biden, he said that Biden is taking it seriously from a public health perspective. The comments were criticized by the White House, which has accused Dr. Anthony Fauci of playing politics. It also said that Fauci had broken all the norms by making his political leanings public. Now, Fauci and Trump have often disagreed on the COVID-19 response of the United States, which at this point of time continues to remain the worst affected country because of the pandemic. In mid-October, Trump had called Fauci a bit of a disaster. Now, Jagrati, if I can get you in on this, this is quite clearly a public spat between the American president who is seeking his re-election in a couple of days and also the top infectious disease expert. Now, Donald Trump has been stating that, look, I've done the best that I can. No other president could have done what I have done. But here the top infectious disease expert says that there needs to be an abrupt and an immediate change in policy in terms of how the COVID-19 infection is tackled in the United States.
Yes, and this has been really a recurring theme throughout this election campaign. Health experts, including Dr. Anthony Fauci, but also other health experts, have been saying that have been expressing concerns about the lack of a coherent, centralized policy on the coronavirus, in particular things like mask wearing, mask mandate, for example, which it would be, even Joe Biden has acknowledged that it would be tricky to enforce legally a nationwide mask mandate. But there are concerns that the coronavirus pandemic is, with the spikes that are going on at the moment, coinciding with the flu season, could cause huge problems for healthcare across the country. In states like Wisconsin, where you're seeing record numbers of hospitalizations, this is a real concern amongst health professionals. Now, what they're saying is that more needs to be done in terms of restricting the movement of people, for example. But President Trump is adamant that enforcing a kind of further lockdowns or further restraint in how people can move about is going to cause problems for the economy, and that he keeps saying that you don't want the cure to be worse than the disease. So there's a clear difference in terms of the public health opinion on what to do and from the economic perspective on what to do. And there's clearly, downsides to shutting down, economies in terms of the economic hurt that it causes people. We've seen that with the number of unemployed over the past few months in the United States. But this is clearly a balance a tricky balance between health professionals and between the economic argument, health professionals being on one side, the president being on the other.
Absolutely, indeed. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Jagrati Dave, for joining us and getting us all those insights. It remains to be seen as to how the people of the United States of America would in fact judge has been the President Trump's performance in battling the COVID-19 infections.